Do you still remember that list of the good things, like the things you're good at and things you're bad at? Is there a
Yeah,
couple
I think
examples you can share?
yeah, the couple big ones was I was terrible at connecting with people, right? And like what I mean by that was the like I'm naturally a numbers guy, I'm naturally a process guy, I'm naturally a strategy guy. So my mind just goes there, right? That's how I think. That's what I want to talk about. That's like my love language. Like that, I get like an affinity if you want to go talk about that stuff. But what I come to realize is that, you genuinely have to put yourself in a position, you have to put yourself in a position to genuinely care about people, right? Like, your sales reps are going to have good days, bad days, and they're emotional beings. That's just who sellers are, right? But like, what's their why? Why are they getting up every morning and grinding? Why are they going to go make 100 phone calls? Like, what are they going to? And so it was like kind of connecting with them on that level, was an opportunity for me, and I was able to figure that out the second time around. I think the other one was, it has more to do with coaching, kind of showing the how. The second time around, I was a lot more confident in sales tactics and sales process. I had more years under my belt, right? And I had been able to learn more and study more and what have you. So when I got into the situation, even with the number one or two sellers, I had something to give, right? Like I had something that like that they could actually go and win with, and I can make meaningful difference in the reps in terms of coaching and strategy. Whereas I just didn't have that confidence like the first time around.
Okay. So you mentioned you overcame the second one, you overcame it by having more experience. The first one, what steps did you take to be more mindful of other people's or to be able to connect more with people?
Yeah, so I think one, it started with there's probably two things. I was like, one, I did this coaching program. It was called Abundance, a company based out of San Francisco, and I think they're still doing it, still doing this thing in some way. But basically, it was like a half sales leader coaching strategy thing, and then it was half like what I call like kumbaya, get in touch with your inner self, like type of stuff, right? And not necessarily my brand of like learning and development, right? But it serves a purpose. Breathing exercises, all the things, right? And so, anyways, but through that though, one big part of their ethos, the thing they drive is how to build community, right? And it was really clear to me is that like I knew a lot of people and I had a lot of connections, but what I didn't have was a community, like a professional community, right? So I didn't have anybody that like I was, I was really connected with in this startup world ecosystem that we're in. And so through that, I just learned how to like, you know, really tune into that part and tune into people. And then that really, tuned into like, what's people's why do they do the thing that they do, like the Simon Sinek stuff. And then, so that was like kind of one. And then number two was, I read the book like multiple times over, was the Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Like it's a total cliche. It's kind of a cliche at this point. I gotta go read this book, but I'm telling you, like, it's like you give yourself like Jedi mind tricks. And I don't profess to be an expert at like people and connection or anything like that. But what it did was give me tactics and gave me like a framework. It's like, hey, listen, if I'm trying to connect with people, my sellers, my people, and whatnot, like this is a good framework for that.
Well, I can tell you that book helped me a lot because I'm one of those guys who's like, I forget to say good morning.
Yeah, me too.
I
Me
forget to
too.
say hi. I jump on a chat like, hey, did you do this? And then I remember like maybe I should say hi first. And then I said, oh,
I'm,
by
I'm
the way, go ahead.
I am the same. Like when I slack in the morning, I'll be like, like whatever the thing is, and I'm like, oh crap. I just hit this person with like three or four things. I didn't say hello. I didn't say good morning. I didn't say how was your night. Like, it's like same thing with like the Starbucks barista. You go through the drive-through and like they're just chatty, and then like I'm like, I just want my coffee.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, dude, they just talked to you for 5 minutes and you didn't even acknowledge them. And I'm like, like that's just, yeah, that's just how I am too. It's how I'm hardwired. So you almost have to like be so intentional about it, right? And like keep
Yeah.
bringing yourself back to center.
Well, that's what happens. Like I send a message, I sent like five messages, and then I ended with, oh, by the way, hi. right? And that seems to work for me.
How do you remember to come back to it? Like, how do you remember to come back to that the human connection piece?
I don't know. It's it's taken a while.
Yeah.
I've always been like this, right? But my wife is. I'm an introvert, right?
Yep.
I'm very kind of goal oriented, action oriented, just get stuff done. My wife is the opposite, and kind of like what you were saying. Like we get to Starbucks, hey, good morning, coffee black, and my wife would
Exactly.
just hit me like say hi. I was like, oh, hello, and then I kind of practiced it. I've been every morning. And once I mess up the first time in the morning, because I always mess up the first one in the morning, I remember to do it for the rest of the day. I guess I need reminders.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm the exact same way. And it's funny is I'll find that like if I'm in a lot of I'm an introvert too. So if I'm in a lot of situations where I had a lot of human interaction and I don't feel like I did well in those interactions, like it sits with me at the end of the day.
For me, I came to the realization that I am good at one-on-one interaction, and I hate like group interaction. Like if I'm sitting in a group, I'm just going to be silent.
Yep.
But as soon as there's one that's to the side, I can go start a conversation. And I think of my behavior is kind of like a credit like a bank account.
Yeah, yeah.
In the one-on-one conversations, I just add to the bank because I'm good
Mm,
in person. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm always empathetic. I try to understand what their problems are, try to help them. And then stuff happens where I have to message someone. Hopefully I have enough credit in the bank so that when I forget to say hello, nothing bad happens. And then I try to put it back in the bank when I say, oh, by the way, hello, ha ha ha. Make
yep.
a joke.
Yeah, the emotional equity, right? That yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm the exact same way. So that's super it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle, but it's like it's also a better way to live though.
Yeah. I mean, I take the struggle over other struggles, honestly. That's like this is one of the best struggles to have. Uh,
Yeah.
and being so I've been moved into sales back in 2021. No longer a sales engineer. But I find being an introvert helps me focus on my job, the things that I have to do. And when I need to turn it on, I can.
Yep.
And I know I can turn it on for a short period of time, and then I have to go do stuff on my own. But it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time with the context switching, right? Because like on the things I got to do on my own is the the strategy work and things like that, like where it's like I gotta get into a deck, I gotta go build the deck, and like I can zone in.
Yep.
If I'm doing that and then going to a team meeting and then going back to that and then a one-on-one, things like that, I tend to not do really well context switching throughout the day. And so my old EA, like we were really like, she was really good about this, but like we would stack the right activities on the right days. And so like when it was like kind of grind day, right? Like and I just had a lot of like things to do, like all those things would be stacked up and time boxed. And then when it was like team in person, like it was like, you're working out in the morning, grabbing your coffee, you're getting geared up for the day, and then you're going in to crush these things, right? And
Yeah.
it wasn't always possible, but it definitely in the days that we were able to thread that, it worked.
For me right now, I have every Monday half day blocked off for strategy work. Every Monday. And then at the end of the month, I have a full day.
Yeah.
And at the end of the quarter, I have a couple of days. And so every Monday for like if I need to work on a deck, I'll try to do it on a Monday. Because I don't struggle with context switching. I think context switching is just hurtful to everybody. I don't think anybody does well with context switching.